Welcome to How to Save. This is how to save the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Do you remember back in the day when the Intercontinental title was considered the workhorse championship? When the Intercontinental title was the second title right behind the WWE Championship, and future world champions would win the Intercontinental title as a buffer to prepare them for being world champion. Or when the fact that if that the Intercontinental title would matter. This way, the WWE could do separate house show loops where the world champion was on one house show loop and the IC champion was on another house show loop, and people would not be disappointed because they got to see both either champion. But that was a long time ago, and a lot has changed since that time. Or in that time. This, my friends, is how to save the WWE Intercontinental Championship. The current champion is Big E. Big E has risen up since since being split from the New Day in last year's draft. Big E has shown potential, has shown the raw ability to become a star if given the opportunity. But the fact of the matter is WWE needs to start that opportunity now. They can't start that opportunity after the Intercontinental title reign because it will benefit both Big E and the Intercontinental title if they allow him to have a stable reign as champion. They need to give time to allow the feuds to matter because nothing is going to change if they don't let it change. Nothing is going to matter if they don't let it matter. And the fact of the matter is that Big E, if they elevate Big E into a feud with Roman, or a feud with Daniel Bryan, or a feud with Seth Rollins, or a feud with somebody who's already a credible main event level talent after he drops the Intercontinental title, that will not only elevate Big E but also elevate the Intercontinental Championship, because it will bring that reputation back that used to be here for the Intercontinental title, that the champions go up, not stay stagnant or go down. That the champions go up to the main event. Big E has the charisma. Big E has the in-ring ability. Big E has the fan support to be a main event star. He just needs the opportunity. And plus, with people like Sami Zayn in WWE, people like Big E don't need to stay in the Intercontinental title picture. I am not saying that Sami Zayn could not be a main event star. I'm saying that right now, Sami Zayn is the hottest heel next to Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn. Or Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is right up there as one of the most entertaining aspects of WWE right now. But in my opinion, he's a better fit to stay with the Intercontinental title than to go up. Because the main event does not need another heel. The main event does not need another heel right now with Rollins and Reigns taking those two top spots. Sami Zayn is undoubtedly an upper mid-card talent and right up there on the upper echelon. But he doesn't need to be in the Universal title picture. He does not need to be challenging for Roman Reigns. He is the guy to elevate the Intercontinental title. He is on the level of The Miz as a great Intercontinental Champion and one of the best in recent memory. He cared about the Intercontinental title. He made it matter. He made his reign count because you could see in the intensity, in the level of respect that he gave that championship, that he cared about the Intercontinental title. That Big E cares about the Intercontinental title. And that's a fact that if you see the champion care, then you will care about the championship more. But let's go back for a second. Let's go back for a second. Let's go back to 2018. Let's go back to 2018. If I'm right, the end of the year before, 2017, December 2017, is when Dolph Ziggler put down the United States title and said he doesn't want to be United States champion, walked out of WWE for a month, returning at the Royal Rumble. And then, after WrestleMania, Dolph Ziggler starts feuding with Seth Rollins when Drew McIntyre makes his main roster debut with Dolph Ziggler. And then that sets up the never-ending rivalry that was between Dolph, Braun, Drew, and The Shield. But now, fast forward. Rollins and Ziggler have a great back-and-forth rivalry. A great back-and-forth feud over the Intercontinental title that really, some of the matches were considered the best that WWE was putting out during that period. But then things went downhill and took a nosedive from there after Rollins won the title the second time. Ambrose, Lashley, Balor, Lashley. From December 2018 all the way up till April 2019, nobody held the title for more than a couple weeks. Nobody held the title for more than a month. And then Balor held the title for barely 100 days. Shinsuke Nakamura, 200 days. And then you go back to barely giving anybody a lengthy title reign. My point is, did Shinsuke's title reign really mean that much? He was champion for 7 months. Did it really mean that much? Did he really do anything worth a damn during that time? Was he elevated after the fact? See, a long title reign can either have a positive effect or a negative effect. The positive effect, AJ Styles. AJ's year-long title reign with the WWE Championship had a positive effect because it was a rare sight. Nobody held the WWE title for that long. But now shift the United States title, the Intercontinental title. Where's Shinsuke Nakamura now? He's finally getting a push, but a year and a half, almost 2 years after dropping the Intercontinental title, he's finally getting a push? That's my point. The title has been directionless for a long time. There has not been a plan for the title for a long time. There has not been a plan for the champion for a long time. Thus far, Big E already has a longer title reign than Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, Braun Strowman. Right now, Big E has the longest title reign of any Intercontinental Champion in almost 2 years. That is insane to me. That is insane to me. Because there is no reason for the short title reigns. There is no reason for the short, for the hot potato the title. You have the Cruiserweight Championship down in NXT now. You have the Women's Championships. Nobody cares about the Women's Tag Team titles. And I'm not talking about the fans, I'm talking about the writers, I'm talking about WWE. Nobody in WWE cares about that, about those titles. You could say they do, but clearly they don't. Well, because it's tag team titles, so of course they don't, because WWE doesn't care about the tag team division. But that's the subject for a different How to Save. My point is, there is no reason why the Universal title can't be the top title, and then right below it is the Intercontinental title. There is no reason why the Intercontinental Champion can't be somebody that they're grooming to be a future contender for the Universal title, or the opposite, or on the other side, the United States Champion can't be a future contender for the World title on Raw. There is no reason why that can't be the case. That's good business because you're grooming a future champion and you have a long-term plan. I'm not saying that everybody needs to be a top contender. I'm not saying everybody needs to be a future challenger for the WWE title. All I'm saying is that somebody like Big E can use the Intercontinental title reign, use an Intercontinental title reign as a springboard. With how hot Sami Zayn is right now, there is no reason why, if there was a babyface Universal Champion, that, or if Sami was on Raw doing this, that there is no reason why Sami couldn't have been challenging for the WWE title right now. No reason. Because the title matters. The championships matter. And the fact of the matter is, remaking a title belt, the title looks nice, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't mean that the title matters. Changing how the title looks doesn't make a freaking difference. It just updates the belt. Booking the title. How you make the title perceived in the eyes of the audience, or how the audience sees the championship and the champion, is what matters, not how the title looks. If we go weeks, months at a time without seeing the Intercontinental Champion in a position of prominence, or in a position that matters, or in a position at all, then we're not going to give two shits who the Intercontinental Champion is. Even if it's somebody that matters, if they're not there defending the championship, then it doesn't matter. There is no reason why the Intercontinental Champion can't be the workhorse champion, can't be the title that is there and featured on a weekly basis to give the fans something to sink their teeth into. Look at Darby Allin in AEW with the TNT Championship. They don't make him defend the title. He's held the championship for almost 140 days, and he's defended the title 4 times. There's no reason why he can't defend the title a little bit more often. I'm not saying that WWE needs to do the same thing. I'm saying that you have plenty of challengers for Big E. There's no reason why you can't make it happen. Big E could be a great champion if you give him feuds that matter. If you give him feuds that count. If you give him feuds that will feature him weekly on programming to make sure that the fans don't forget who Big E is. His feud with Apollo Crews, I have to say, applause to WWE for making it count, for making it matter, and for making it one of the better Intercontinental Championship feuds in recent memory. But it also continues the momentum for the gold. It also continues the momentum for Big E as a single star, because he had a good feud with Sami Zayn. He had that interaction with Paul Heyman on Talking Smack, And now he's going into a feud with Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental title. You have to figure that in some form, fashion, or facet, that the Intercontinental title will be one of the multi-man matches at WrestleMania, because there has to be a multi-man match at WrestleMania, and I'd rather it be for the Intercontinental and the United States titles than for the tag team titles. Because the question would be, does WWE have the tag teams to cover a multi-man match for the tag team gold? I think the answer to that question is no. But again, that's for a different how to save. As for this one, Apollo Crews needs to get his feet underneath him. Because he finally had something shake up his gimmick. He finally turned heel. He finally got some character to him. And you could give him the Intercontinental title if you so choose to give him the Intercontinental title. You can give him the Intercontinental title on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania to make that title win mean something. But the fact of the matter is, if you do, keep Big E in the Intercontinental title ring then. In the Intercontinental title race then. Let him go back and get that title again. Let him keep feuding with Apollo. Let it be where Apollo wins a multi-man match, and then you go with the old school feud that Big E didn't get pinned. Or what's Jey Uso doing? Unless you're keeping Jey Uso on the sidelines until Jimmy comes back to then put them in the tag team division, which would make sense. But if Jey Uso's not doing anything, if Jimmy's going to be gone for a little bit while longer, there is no reason why Jey can't be featured in the Intercontinental title picture. He doesn't need to be sitting on the sidelines waiting to be pieced in to help his cousin. He could be going for his own championship gold. King Corbin. I don't understand, but Baron Corbin is by far one of the still one of the most hated stars in WWE, and always gets a reaction when he pops up on screen. Putting him in the ring with Big E, even for a short program, it would help. It would help. Because you keep him busy, you keep him doing something, you keep Big E on programming, you keep the Intercontinental title on programming, and you keep elevating Big E. You keep putting him on TV and putting him out there to show that he's one of the people you want to feature on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, to show that he matters, that he's going to be a featured star. He's going to be on the posters. He's going to have his merchandise pushed. He's going to be given the time to show that he can be on the level of Daniel Bryan, that he can be on the level of Seth Rollins. Like Cesaro's feud with Seth Rollins, it needs to elevate Cesaro. It needs to bring Cesaro up. It needs to make Cesaro count. It needs to show the people that finally, Cesaro is somebody that WWE is willing to invest in. But that's what they need to do with Big E. That they need to show that they're going to invest in him. That this is not an experiment. This is not like his first title reign. This is not like his first title reign back in 2011 when he first came up. Am I right? Was it actually 2011? Oh, 2013. Sorry. This isn't like his first title reign when he first came up in 2013. It's not like that. Because if you remember, what happened after that? Nothing. Nothing happened. Nothing. It's not going to be like that this time, or you would hope it's not going to be like that this time, because of the success that Big E has had with the New Day. The potential that he showed as a member of the New Day. But King Corbin isn't the only one. As you see, I have Kalisto listed. Kalisto is friends, I'm pretty sure, with Big E, and having him feud with his friend, even if it is a one-time thing, even if it is a 2-week feud, or a few-week feud, just to give Kalisto television time, because there's no reason to have somebody employed if you're not using them. Because also, if you're not using Kalisto on the main roster, the Cruiserweight title's in NXT. Send him to NXT. The Mysterios, the Street Profits, I know they're in the tag team division, but it would give the tag team division a break. Because if WWE only has Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler and the Street Profits in the tag team division, then what the heck's the point of having a tag team division? If you're only going to have 2 teams in the division, what the heck's the point? But also, if you go back to the 80s, it worked. When Ric Flair was the NWA World Champion, he fought Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk, the Rock and Roll Express in singles matches, and people paid to see it. Look over to AEW. You had Cody against guys like, when Cody was TNT champion, he fought Isaiah Cassidy. He fought tag team performers, and it gave them the opportunity to show what they could do in singles competition. The amount of praise that Montez Ford has gotten since he came up to the main roster, the amount of people that have said that Montez Ford will be world champion one day. This would be his opportunity to show what he can do. This could be his opportunity to show what he can do if given the opportunity to be a single star down the road. The Mysterios, it would bring Ray and Dominic away from the controversy that was that Murphy feud. It would bring them away from Seth Rollins and would give them something different to do. Yes, I think, for my opinion, that the Mysterios would be much better off in the tag team division, but if you want to put them together and have them feud with Big E, why not? I'm not saying, oh, we'll have Dominic turn heel, have this, blah, 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 father versus son WrestleMania feud. That could be something. But the fact of the matter is that the only way that would work is if it's something that you do where you finally have Dominic start making his own identity. But you can also just do that where you don't have him turn heel. You have it where once Ray goes away, Dominic takes the torch and runs with it. But again, that's the story for a different day. My point is, it would give them both. It would give all 3 guys TV time, and it would give Ray one more shot at a title reign. Yes, you could say, oh well, you have that stake and you have Dominic host on the match. That's kind of hard to say that it's not going to lead to a heel turn. But my point is, it doesn't have to. Same with the Street Profits. It doesn't have to. You could have an open challenge. You could have a pondering. Think about it like this. If Big E does beat Apollo Crews at WrestleMania, or if Big E is versing Apollo at WrestleMania, because he did beat he did beat Apollo at Fastlane. That if he fights Apollo again, what happens if he beats him again? Imagine him coming out on SmackDown and laying out a challenge. Not an open challenge, just a challenge to the SmackDown roster that he stepped up and he earned that title. Now he's giving somebody else the opportunity to step up and come face to face with him, and please let it not be Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is entertaining, but somebody else needs to be the one that steps up and fights Big E. That could be when you get Kalisto out there. That could be when you bring out one of the Street Profits. That could be when you bring out one of the Mysterios. I think King Corbin needs to be a more drawn-out feud rather than a one-off story, or it could be a more drawn-out feud. But my point is, if you sit down with a calendar and you say WrestleMania to WrestleMania, where do we see Big E? I think Big E could be in the world title picture next year at WrestleMania if you book these next 12 months the right way. That if you let Big E win the Royal Rumble next year, nobody would have a problem with it. Nobody would complain. if you let Big E win the Royal Rumble next year and challenge for the WWE title or the World Universal title next year. Especially if you booked out from now until SummerSlam or now until Survivor Series with him in the Intercontinental title picture, and then you start building him up closer to the Royal Rumble in November, then it will be the payoff. It will be a feel-good moment to see Big E in the world title picture, holding the Universal title or holding the WWE Championship, because he deserves it, because he earned it, like Kofi earned it. Big E worked hard to get to where he is. Big E is one of the most beloved stars in that locker room and in wrestling in general. And there is no reason why he doesn't deserve to be champion, because he has the potential to be WWE champion. And seeing Big E develop and move forward and piece together a run for the ages, to see him go to WrestleMania next year and be champion in 2022, be WWE champion, be world champion in 2022, it will be the stuff of legend. Because not only will it be well deserved, but it will also be how I would save the Intercontinental title, because it all goes back to long-term booking. And making the champion matter. If you make the champion matter, then the title matters, and you build from there. What would you do? How would you save the Intercontinental title? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you don't, if you want to, you can also subscribe to always know when a new video comes up on the channel, whether it's Twitch highlights, whether it's a how to save, whether it's another type of deep dive. Either way, let me know down in the comment section below what you want to see, or if you're enjoying this new content, let me know. I would love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to dig down that notification bell to always know when a new video is up, and get notified in your sub box, or get notified of the notifications, because sometimes if you subscribe, it doesn't always notify you when a new video is up. So you gotta subscribe and hit that dig down that bell to always know when a new video is up. And I will see you in the streams. Peace.